Hello Internet, and welcome back to my reviews of the X-Men movies leading up to Deadpool and Wolverine. Last time we covered X-Men Apocalypse, and now we have made it to the third solo Wolverine film, and Hugh Jackman's final outing as Wolverine, a movie I would like to call Logan.
It was Hugh Jackman's final outing as yours truly, until that sumbitch Kevin Feige mailed me an angry letter, saying that he needs to come back in the next Deadpool movie. Or else there'll be an angry mob out of Xavier's School for the Gifted.
Actually, that angry letter was written by me. You see, I memorized Kevin Feige's handwriting and forged his signature. Plus, the real Kevin Feige would never say the word fuck in written form.
Aha! I knew it was you, Wade. What the fuck are you doing here, anyway?
David wanted us to accompany him in his review of not only Logan, but Deadpool 2 as well. How many times are you guys gonna rudely interrupt my reviews?
Don't you go bitching at me. I'm not the one who does it. It's the male version of Harley Quinn over here.
Hey! Do not compare me to Harley Quinn. I can understand people compare me to Deathstroke, but Harley Quinn? In what ways am I like Harley Quinn?
Well, let's see. You leave people in puddles of blood. You're very annoying and vexing, and you both say the word fuck more times than your average South Park character. It doesn't help that Margot Robbie played a part in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Hey, I heard that.
That's not what I meant by Wolf of Wall Street. I meant the Martin Scorsese film with Leonardo DiCaprio.
You know, Leonardo DiCaprio did multiple films with Martin Scorsese, like The Aviator, The Departed, Shutter Island, and Killers of the Flower Moon.
Unless you want to take a deep breath through your fucking forehead, I suggest you shut your mouth and let the wolf boy get on with the show.
Thank you. So anyway, released on March 3rd, 2017, Logan follows an aged Wolverine and an extremely ill Charles Xavier, played by Patrick Stewart, in his final portrayal of the character, before his brief appearance in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, must defend a young mutant girl named Laura, played by Daphne Keane. Laura is known as X-23 in the Marvel Comics. Fun fact, this is actually Daphne Keane's feature film debut, and she would later go on to appear in such television series as His Dark Materials and The Acolyte. Returning to the director's chair is James Mangold, who previously directed The Wolverine, Walk the Line, the 2007 remake of 3:10 to Yuma, Night and Day, and would later go on to direct Ford v Ferrari, and also botched the legacy of Indiana Jones with a movie that I like to call Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Logan is loosely based on the Old Man Logan storyline in the X-Men comics, and it is the second X-Men film to be given an R rating, after Deadpool, thus making it the first and only film in the X-Men film canon to be rated R. Fuck Wolverine! First, he rides my coattails with the R rating. Then the hairy motherfucker ups the ante by dying. What a dick. Well, guess what, Wolvie? I'm dying in this one, too.
Well, we are in the same R-rated film, complete with F-words, all the blood and gore you'd expect from a Mortal Kombat game, or your average episode of The Boys.
Logan is trying to protect Laura from an army of mercenaries called the Reavers, led by Donald Pierce, played by Boyd Holbrook, and Xander Rice, played by Richard E. Grant. Now that sounds awfully familiar. If anybody has played The Last of Us, or seen the first season of The Last of Us on HBO with Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, the storyline for Logan shares some similarities with The Last of Us. A post-apocalyptic future where society has crumbled, an aging man who lost everything has to protect a young girl and escort her to safety while fighting off an army of bad guys. In Logan is the Reavers, and in The Last of Us is the Fireflies.
Well, not everyone has PS3s or 4s or 5s, so everyone's not gonna have access to that game.
Oh, believe me, Wolverine, I certainly know how that feels.
Hello there, Xbox One lad.
General Kenobi PS4 punk. Also, I got an Xbox Series X for Christmas.
My apologies, Xbox Series X lad.
Wait, hold up! Is that Deadpool?
Yes, I am Deadpool.
Deadpool! I've always wanted to meet you. Here, sign my Deadpool poster.
Alright, here you go. But we should really get started here.
And I see the PS4 Lobo is wearing his blue Sonic bathrobe.
Yep, the Sonic robe is back.
Anyway, I best be off. Charlie, get your hands off the sushi before I sing an anti-sushi theft song!
Thanks for the cameo. Now, where were we? You were gonna give a spoiler warning? Oh yes, that's right. This video will contain spoilers to Logan, so if you've not seen Logan yet, please do so before watching this video. But keep in mind, This is way darker and more mature than every other X-Men movie starring Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. It's rated R for a fucking reason. But if you have seen Logan, hop along as I give my thoughts on Hugh Jackman's initial swan song as Wolverine, before his ultimate return in Deadpool and Wolverine. This is Logan. Also, just like with Deadpool and X-Men Apocalypse, I originally reviewed Logan on my old channel as Sonic and Shonic, but I felt the need to revisit it again as part of this series of film reviews. And I'll be doing it one more time with Deadpool 2. Also, the Blu-ray version of this film comes with the black and white version of the film called Logan Noir. It's the same movie, but in black and white. Just like how Zack Snyder's Justice League Justice is Grey is just a black and white version of Zack Snyder's Justice League. I honestly don't see how adding a black and white version of a movie shot in color makes it any better. Of all the aviation gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine. Good Christmas, Deadpool. It had to happen sooner or later.
The wolf is right, Wade. Good Christmas.
Alright, let's begin. Take it away, David. Logan starts off with Wolverine passed out in the back of some random limousine where we get our first look at an R-rated Wolverine, complete with blood, gore, severed limbs, and things I never knew I needed with a Wolverine movie. And one of his claws doesn't come out the whole way. Whiskey dick of the claws. It's quite common in Wolverines over 40.
Shut your fucking mouth, Bob.
Oh, and this movie contains plenty of F-bombs, even coming out of Patrick Stewart of all people. Now this is an unusual move on Fox's part, because with Patrick Stewart's portrayal of Charles Xavier in the X-Men movies, he never utters a single curse word. But in Logan, he would just say words like fuck and shit. What's next? Sonic the Hedgehog saying the word fuck all the time? Way to throw me under the fucking bus, David. Zowie, Sonic. And in case you guys were wondering, it's just me making a cameo today. Good to know. So Logan takes place in the year 2029, and there have been no mutants born in 25 years. Then where the fuck does the New Mutants fall under the X-Men timeline?
Lord knows, Wade. Lord knows.
Logan works as a limousine driver in El Paso, Texas, and he and Caliban, played by Stephen Merchant, care for an ailing Charles Xavier in an abandoned smelting plant in Mexico. Charles is in his late 90s in this movie, and he inadvertently killed several X-Men because Charles Xavier, plus dementia, equals seizures that can injure and kill hundreds and thousands of mutants. And the only way to get the seizures to stop is by having Logan inject him with a special drug. Now imagine if Charles was using Cerebro at the time, and he had one of those seizures. Global extinction for humans and mutants alike. I said the same thing in my X2 review, but it's true.
And then I meet some crazy Mexican lady named Gabriela, who's apparently a nurse working for a company called Transigen. She and her daughter Laura have to be taken to a place in North Dakota known as Eden.
Eden, supposedly a reference to the Garden of Eden in the book of Genesis in the Old Testament, but we don't know for certain. Also, this movie includes actual X-Men comics. Well, comics created specifically for the movie, praising the X-Men as heroes and helping a bunch of mutant children get to safety. But no mention of Deadpool.
Some of those comics had me in my nice yellow suit here, as well as some little kid with a Wolverine action figure. Of course, I won't wear the yellow suit until Deadpool and Wolverine. Why Hugh Jackman had to wait so damn long to wear that badass yellow suit, I have no fucking clue, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna blame Bryan fucking Singer.
And then Logan comes face to face with Donald Pierce, who is looking for Gabriella and wants her dead. He works for Transigen, or Alkali Transigen, which is a biotechnology company who experiments on mutant children. We learn that the children aren't born, but created in the labs using mutant DNA, and were designed to be weapons. We will learn more about this later on.
I bring Charles some prescription drugs past the border between Texas and Mexico, where he has a fucking seizure after somehow promoting the new quesalupa from Taco Bell.
That's what happens when you become senile and deal with dementia. The new quesalupa from Taco Bell! Get it with chicken, get it with steak, and with the cheese baked right in the shell, it's the next big thing. Go now while supplies last! Oh bloody hell, did someone mention Taco Bell?
That was the red-suited jackass over there with the katanas.
Yes, Eugene the Scarlet Fox here. Go on, Eugene, sing a song for us! Not today. I'm only here because Deadpool mentioned Taco Bell. And you all know that tacos are my favorite food. And a certain arse pixie wearing a white bathrobe often steals them from me.
Thank you for that, Eugene. But we have some business to take care of.
Of course. See you later. And Shorlick, put the bloody tacos down! Alright, so where were we?
So I work as a limousine driver, and there was one instance where this random lady flashed her knockers at me. Given the fact that this movie is R-rated, they can actually get away with showing that kind of stuff.
But on YouTube, that kind of stuff is not allowed. Right, Deadpool? Yeah, I get it. Logan then finds Gabriella and Laura again at some random motel. And then, after Laura breaks a window with a ball and some bitch-ass lady scolds her, Logan has the most appropriate response.
You get your fat ass back in your office. You'll get your money.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door, bub.
I thought that was a Spider-Man quote and not a Wolverine quote.
Don't you fucking patronize me, Wade.
And when Logan gets back over to Charles and Caliban, they discover a stowaway. Laura snuck into Logan's limousine because she's Logan's daughter. Now, in case you're wondering, she wasn't born. She was created using Logan's DNA. Soon afterwards, he finds Gabriella dead in her motel room, and that the one who killed her is the metal-armed sumbitch who for some reason is not the Winter Soldier. If he's not the Winter Soldier, then perhaps he could be the Summer Soldier.
Riddle me this. Who has 6 claws and is 5 seconds away from cutting off your chicken nuggets?
Really? Food metaphors for private parts?
Keep it up, or your poutine is next.
How dare you take a national Canadian dish in vain? Poutine is delicious!
I've never tried it, but I know it's one of the best foods in the Great White North.
Alrighty then, Wolvie. Here's a hard one for you. What's your favorite menu item from Hungry Jack's?
What the fuck is Hungry Jack's?
It's what the Australians call Burger King, you numpty! Anyway, what I meant to ask was, what's your favorite menu item from Outback Steakhouse? The bloomin' onion?
You wanna see a bloomin' onion? Well, I'll show you a goddamn motherfucking bloomin' onion.
Are you guys trying to make me hungry? No? Then let's continue, please.
Very well then, proceed.
Soon, our heroes are discovered by the Reavers, led by Donald Pierce, who killed Gabriella. They are looking for Laura, or X-23. Turns out that she was in contact with Charles, who believes that there are other mutants out there. And there she is, eating a bowl of cornflakes when the bad guys show up. So then, an intense fight breaks out when Laura shows off her mutant powers. She has the exact same powers as Wolverine, from the claws to the healing.
Still, to this day, I have no goddamn clue how the sumbitches got my DNA to create not only Laura, but also X-24.
X-24 is another one of the film's main antagonists. X-24 is also played by Hugh Jackman, and he's practically a perfect clone of Wolverine, from the healing to the claws. Plus, Logan has been carrying around an adamantium bullet because he was suicidal and was ready to shoot himself with it. You know better than that, Wolvie. Do you need help? Do you want to talk about it?
That was only me in the movie, Wade. I'm not like that anymore in real life. Not anymore.
Just making sure. The last thing I want is for you to end up like Sonic in Sonic's Invisible Scars. Hey, that's way too soon, Deadpool. Sorry, Sonic, but still, I don't want you ending up with an adamantium bullet in your own head. And that goes to anyone out there watching this. If you're not feeling like yourself and feel hopeless, know that there are people out there who love you and that you are not alone. But if you feel like you really are at the lowest of lows, call or text 988. That is the suicide prevention hotline. They are trained professionals who will listen to you and are always willing to help you out. Or you can talk to your friends, or even your family. Anyway, back onto Logan. After an intense battle with the blood and gore you'd expect from an R-rated movie, Logan, Charles, and Laura book it out of there, while Caliban gets captured by the Reavers and is forced to track the others. Turns out that Caliban is sensitive to sunlight, and often covers himself up whenever he goes outside. Because if he's exposed to sunlight, his skin gets burned to a crisp like a vampire. I don't know if they got that from Blade, but that is an interesting feature.
No, Caliban is no vampire, so I don't see any connections to Blade.
Well, what'd you expect? Before the X-Men and before Spider-Man, we got Blade with Wesley Snipes. That movie had plenty of R-rated moments such as abundant uses of the word fuck, blood everywhere, and vampire skin burning up in sunlight. This was a reminder to audiences that Marvel is capable of making R-rated movies like Blade, The Punisher, Deadpool, Logan, and even Deadpool and Wolverine.
And let's not forget that DC rode our coattails with the R ratings for movies like Watchmen, V for Vendetta, Batman vs. Superman The Ultimate Edition, Joker, Birds of Prey, The Snyder Cut, The Suicide Squad, and Joker Folie à Deux. Not to mention several animated DC films,
Too many to count! So Logan, Charles, and Laura are on the run when Logan takes a look at Gabriella's phone, and he sees a shocking video revealing that she's a nurse working for Alkali Transigen, a company that is breeding children with DNA samples from a crazy number of mutants, including Logan himself. The children were to become weapons, but they were difficult to control and were to be put to death, but Gabriella helps some of them escape. But for the sake of the runtime, the phone dies and they stop at a convenience store to get a phone charger. And how much did Patrick Stewart get paid to say this line?
I have to pee.
And how much did Patrick Stewart get paid to do this? And also, how much fucking money did Patrick Stewart get paid to say fuck and shit as Charles Xavier? His most iconic role since Captain Picard in Star Trek The Next Generation. Beats me! And there's also a scene where after riding one of those coin-operated horse rides, Laura shoplifts from the convenience store, stealing a pair of sunglasses and a can of Pringles without paying. And as she gets ready to kill the guy working at the store, Logan stops her and tells her that attacking random people is not okay. He just makes off with a phone charger and a cigar, because it's not Hugh Jackman's Wolverine without a fucking cigar.
Speaking of which...
Why?
By the time we get to the end of the movie, the cigar will go out.
I don't smoke. And besides, the last thing I want is to be smoking while wearing my bathrobe and have it catch on fire. And besides, I already look handsome enough wearing this. We get it, David!
Just get on with it already.
And what's another way to show that Logan in this movie is really old and is slowly dying due to the adamantium in his bones slowly killing him? Is that he needs fucking reading glasses in order to read things like comic books, looking at Gabriella's video on her phone, or looking at a goddamn menu at an old 1950s diner. The latter doesn't happen. I was just listing a scenario where Logan would need reading glasses. And like we said, Laura is a fan of X-Men comics, as the comics in this movie reveal Eden, which is a safe haven for the mutant children who escape from the labs. And it's from watching Gabriella's video that we learn that Laura is actually Logan's daughter. So then, the three heroes make their way to Oklahoma City where they stay at a hotel with a casino in it. Laura wants to go shopping, but Logan says no, until Charles reveals to them that they need clothes, so they go ahead and buy some clothes. And also, the car they arrive in is damaged beyond repair, so Logan then goes out to buy a new car later on. And while they crash to the hotel, Laura is briefly seen wearing a light blue bathrobe, kind of like the one I'm wearing right now, except it's not a Sonic the Hedgehog bathrobe. I was just about to say! I was mostly referring to the blue robe that Sean Connery wore in Dr. No.
That's very nice, Wolf Boy. You and X-23 are wearing matching colored robes. You some bitches must be twins or something.
No, she's just a kid, and I'm 28.
You know what I mean.
Logan dismisses Laura's X-Men comics as fictional bullshit and thinks that Eden is a made-up place. And we learn that one of Charles's favorite movies is Shane, a Western film from 1953 starring Alan Ladd, Jean Arthur, Van Heflin, Brandon DeWilde, and Jack Palance. Jack Palance also played Carl Grissom in Tim Burton's Batman from 1989. Turns out that the movie Shane is one of the main inspirations for Logan. In fact, Logan takes a bunch of inspiration from classic Western and noir cinema. Now, as of this video's upload, I've not seen Shane, but I do love classic cinema, so I'm definitely willing to give that movie a shot. Same with The Quiet Man starring John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara, The Bridge on the River Kwai, North by Northwest, and Vertigo. I didn't know you were into 50s and 60s movies. Well, aside from Sean Connery's Bond films. There's a lot that people don't know about me. I've seen a few 1950s films like Rebel Without a Cause, On the Waterfront, Rear Window, Roman Holiday, and Singin' in the Rain, with Rebel Without a Cause being one of my personal favorites. And a bunch of classic Disney films like Lady and the Tramp, Cinderella, Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland, and Sleeping Beauty. But after watching Logan Lord knows how many times, I definitely want to give Shane a shot. After buying a new car and taking a look at one of Laura's X-Men comics, the Reavers close in on the hotel where they're staying at, and Charles has another fucking seizure that freezes everyone with a psychic blast. The only ones not affected are Logan and Laura, and they just kill the attackers as they close in on the heroes. And then, Logan injects Charles with the medication that makes the seizure stop, and then they book it out of there.
And then the scene where we give Charles the medicine, and he makes a silly face. Again, how much was Patrick Stewart paid to do this?
Who fucking knows? And while they're driving through the countryside to get away from the Reavers, they almost get in an accident with futuristic trucks, and a car that's towing horses gets swerved off the highway, thus the horses are set loose and are trotting amok. And one power that Patrick Stewart has is using his psychic powers on animals like horses. Like, How the fuck does one use psychic powers on horses?
Beats me, Wade.
Did he put a song from Ocarina of Time suddenly play in his head? While the song was playing in his head, he got the horses to calm down, back into the trailer where they came from.
I don't think Charles's mutant abilities work like that, bub.
I didn't think so. So after the horses are calmed down, the farmers who own the horses invite Logan, Charles, and Laura for dinner. Now, if there's one thing I learned from X-Men Origins Wolverine, is that you should never invite Wolverine into your home for dinner. Otherwise, you're fucking dead.
Oh, imagine inviting me to the island restaurant featured in the menu. I'd be the only one to survive the restaurant being set on fire and making s'mores, while everybody else in the restaurant dies. Let me take the cigar out. Especially after Anya Taylor-Joy eats the cheeseburger. Of course, I'd be happy to claw the head chef's heart out after serving the mess.
I would imagine that not everyone watching this video has seen the menu, but one of the courses served at the restaurant is called The Mess. It's served by the sous chef who kills himself in front of the guests, so I don't blame you, Wolverine. Like David said, never invite Wolverine over for dinner, otherwise you're fucking dead the next day. So after a nice dinner, and driving off in forces from a corporate farm, in comes the bad guys who unleash X-24. Like we said, X-24 is a mindless clone of Logan created as Transigen's ultimate weapon. He goes in to kill Charles, and he kills the family, leaving them in puddles of blood. This movie is rated R for a reason, folks. And this is one of 3 on-screen deaths sustained by Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. The first being X-Men The Last Stand, where he is vaporized by the Phoenix. The second is in Logan, where he is murdered by X-24. And the third is in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where the Scarlet Witch snaps his fucking neck.
Turns out that X-24 and I are evenly matched. Except he heals faster than old man Logan. And Wade, don't you go saying anything about Canada's ass.
I think you look great, Wolvie, and as far as I'm concerned, that's Canada's ass.
God damn it, you red-clad son-bitch.
X-24 captures Laura and tries to bring her to the bad guys. And also Caliban blows himself up in the ensuing battle, injuring Pierce, all while Xander Rice is watching. So then, Logan and Laura escape and they bury Charles, thus making Logan the last X-Man. So from here on out, it's just Logan and Laura making their way to the safe haven, as if they were Joel and Ellie from The Last of Us. The only difference is that Laura doesn't talk until the second half of the movie, yet 95% of Ellie's dialogue in The Last of Us consists of F-bombs. And it's not an R-rated movie without constant uses of the word fuck, especially when Logan has trouble starting the truck, and he loses his fucking shit before passing out cold. Remember your review of the Wolverine, how if I had a gold coin for every time Wolverine wakes up in a hospital in a solo Wolverine movie, I'd be the richest sumbitch in the universe?
You said rupee, not gold coin. You're not Mario, you're not Link, you're not Sonic the Hedgehog. Hell, you're not even Samus Aran.
I'm pretty sure I said gold coin. No, you said rupee. Well, shit, I stand corrected. Laura finally speaks to Logan in fluent Spanish, and also quite a bit of English. Logan is too weak to take her all the way to North Dakota, until she persuades him to take her to Eden. But then, he looks like he's about to pass out from exhaustion as he's driving. So Laura lets him rest, and she drives him. And I don't think Daphne Keane learned how to drive while filming this movie. It was definitely a stunt double. Daphne Keane was only 11 when she was filming for Logan.
Oh, believe me, bub, I would not want to be in the car with a little kid driving, let alone short round in the opening scene from Indiana Jones and a Temple of Doom.
And so they finally make it to the safe haven where we meet the other mutant children who ran away from the labs. Their mission is to travel 8 miles to the Canadian border, away from the bad guys. And there's also a cheeky scene where the kids use scissors to shave Logan's beard. Also, when Logan is woken by nightmares, is it me, or does it sound like he's choking on tobacco?
That's why I put my cigars out before I go to bed. I don't chew tobacco in my sleep. In fact, I don't even chew tobacco, period.
And in the ensuing scenes, Logan confesses to Laura that every time he tries to help someone, it ends with someone close to him dying. And that goes to show that he really does care about her like the daughter he never had. Just like how Joel was willing to kill an entire army of Fireflies to save Ellie from being operated on by Abby's father. In case you don't know who Abby is, she's one of the main characters you play as in The Last of Us Part 2.
Thanks for clarifying, Wade.
They also have a special medicine for Wolverine that temporarily enhances his healing abilities and boosts his strength.
case you were wondering, no. It's not that compound V from whatever the fuck the boys is. It's just a temporary serum, like one of those stamina potions in games like Skyrim, The Legend of Zelda, Elden Ring, or any fantasy RPG ever. Or, like that scene in The Batman where he, shoots himself with the adrenaline. Besides, I'm a Marvel Comics character. I'm not from the boys. Do I look like I want to work with that sumbitch Homelander? No. I'd rather work with good old Captain America, which I did back in World War II.
I don't think you stand a chance against Homelander. You'll be in a puddle of blood and metal. Since you got an adamantium skeleton.
Shot in.
I yowie! Turns out that in X-Men Apocalypse, Logan ended up killing Xander Rice's father. But we don't have enough time to learn the true backstory behind that sumbitch. It also turns out that the reason why no mutants have been born in many years is due to genetically engineered crops created by Transigen and distributed through the world's food supply.
And so, I shoot the sumbitch in the head. Because like Sonic the Hedgehog often says on this channel, I only use a gun for emergencies.
Sonic hardly uses guns anymore. Same with Sonic. Sonic has a fucking lightsaber! It's not a lightsaber. It's called the Golden Eagle Blade. It glows blue whenever I hold it. That's nice. Thanks for the cameo, Sonic, but we're almost finished here. So then the mutant children overpower Pierce, and together, they kill the remaining Reavers. And then, one final battle between Logan and X-24. And during the battle, X-24 brings Logan to a tree and mortally wounds him. And I've got a couple of bells and whistles to add to that scene. Deadpool, no!
Oh, look at that. I've been impaled.
Wade!
Oh wait, it gets better!
How about another joke, Murray?
No, I think we've had enough of your jokes.
What do you get
I don't think so.
when you cross
I think
a
we're
mentally
done
ill
with your
loner
jokes.
with
That's
a
it.
society that abandons him and treats him like trash?
Call the police,
I'll
Gene.
tell you what you get.
Call the police.
You get what you fucking deserve.
That's right! Laura takes the adamantium bullet that Logan was gonna use on himself and uses it to finish off X-24. And then we get the most heartbreaking finale in a Marvel movie since Avengers Endgame. I see you on your back. There's blood everywhere. You're holding your own heart in your hand.
You're lucky my cigar is finished. Otherwise, I'd burn that mask right off your fucking face.
Don't you fucking dare! So yes, a dying Logan tells Laura not to be what they made her to be. And then she calls him Daddy. And thus, Wolverine, the last of the X-Men, has died.
I'm right here,
The more I see this scene, the more I want to cry. Because this was a proper send-off to Hugh Jackman's initial run as Wolverine, right before they brought him back for Deadpool and Wolverine.
All right, Feige. Don't try anything funny with Robert Downey Jr. The sumbitch recently won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for Oppenheimer. He doesn't need to come back from the dead to play Iron Man one last time.
The children still alive at the end of the movie hold a funeral for Wolverine, in which Laura recites a scene from Shane. A man has to be what he is, Joey. Can't break the mold. There's no living with the killing. There's no going back. Right or wrong, it's a brand that sticks. Now you run on home to your mother. You tell her everything's alright. There are no more guns in the valley. And the movie ends with the children burying Logan, and Laura tilting the cross on his gravesite to create an X, showing that the last of the X-Men has been laid to rest. I'm giving Logan a 10 out of 10. It's definitely an emotional roller coaster from start to finish, and a worthy send-off to Hugh Jackman's initial portrayal of Wolverine before his ultimate return in Deadpool and Wolverine. It is regarded as the best reviewed film in the X-Men franchise, and I can totally see why. Now, the trilogy of Wolverine-centered films had a rocky start with a hilariously bad X-Men Origins Wolverine, followed by the underrated gem, The Wolverine. And Logan was just a perfect ending to Wolverine's tale. This is the best we've seen of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. This movie was something I never even knew I wanted, and that was seeing an R-rated Wolverine movie. And I don't just mean hearing Hugh Jackman saying fuck every 5 minutes. I mean blood, gore, and a bunch of stuff you would expect from R-rated movies. Like Deadpool, this movie took full advantage of the R rating. I can see how this film was inspired by classic Western and noir cinema, particularly the 1953 film Shane. I hardly have any gripes with Logan. It was emotional, full of adrenaline-pumping action, and is the Marvel version of The Last of Us. I love everything about this movie, and I'm glad I had the pleasure of watching it again.
To be completely honest, I think the X-Men series should have ended here with Logan. Not to sound biased, of course, but that movie was already a perfect ending to the X-Men movie series. Until we got Dark Phoenix and the new goddamn motherfucking mutants.
Well, David still needs to get through reviewing Deadpool 2 next, right? That's right. So now, I've got 3 movies left to review for the X-Men film series. With that said, stay tuned for my upcoming review of Deadpool 2 coming soon. See you all next time!
Yeah, Deadpool and I will be present in the new review of Deadpool 2. But Dark Phoenix and the New Mutants, not so much. For those movies, David is on his own. Sorry, Bob.
He won't be alone. He'll have whichever kind of alcohol I give him for each of those movies.
You know what I mean, Wade. Now let's say goodbye to the viewers.
This is your friendly neighborhood Deadpool signing off.
And Wolverine. Until next time, Bubs.
So yes, stay tuned for my upcoming review of Deadpool 2 coming soon. Till then, I'll see you all next time.